It's now time to explore the captivating theme of our next topic, embracing innovation to leap ahead. This intriguing term is an amalgamation of two powerful words, AI and innovation. In this session, we will delve into the intersection of these two transformative forces, discussing how organizations can leverage AI-powered innovation to propel themselves forward. It is with great pride that I invite our esteemed panel of speakers on stage, all of whom are exceptional women leaders in their respective fields in light of one of the previous discussions points. Join me in welcoming Ms. Sangeeta Gupta, Senior Vice President, Nasscom, to moderate the session. Also joining us is Ms. Vidushi Kapoor, co-founder, Process 9 Technologies. We are also joined by Ms. Krishna Peesapati, Director, Covalense Global. A huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Over to you, Ms. Gupta.
Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to everybody who's chosen to stay back and attend our session. I know we are between you and the Inspire Awards, but we promise to make this interesting. I'm very honored to have two very eminent women leaders who are working in the space of AI to join me today. So I'm not really going to make this a session about AI technologies and what's happening, but really try and focus on how do you make AI more real for SMEs that are in the room? What can you really learn from what these two leaders have done? AI has been around for a very, very long time. I know with the advent of Gen AI, there's a lot of hype and excitement and risk and opportunities that are now getting discussed. But I think it's also important to see what does it mean from a business perspective. Can I build a new business offering around it? Can I expand my existing business offering? What can I really do to make sure that AI brings that added positive to my business? So Krishna, I'm going to start with you. You've been running an IT services company, and you had focus on data engineering, intelligent automation, and now artificial intelligence and generative AI. How have you seen this journey, and how do you see this evolve as AI is becoming so much more foundational to every aspect of business?
Yeah, thank you, Sangeeta, for that. And I'm glad to meet all of you. Thanks to Nasscom for organizing this, and to all the participants who are here. In the interest of time, I'll cut it short. Yeah, the journey so far, for me over the periods, we've seen the advent of intelligent automation, where we had automated a lot of processes, but the core focus has always been on efficiency, cutting down the routine manual tasks where there could be some manual errors, and moving the team working on into more value-added value proposition, and also increasing the efficiency. That was what we had seen in intelligent automation when we were working. Post that, the data engineering is again where we have standardized a lot of our data engineering approaches. We have built in some accelerators to reduce the timelines for the service for the customers. So that was a bit of data engineering where we have extensive data from our customers which is lying across. So the data engineering again was a very unique proposition which we were offering to our customers globally. And now with AI and Gen AI, we've been there in AI for more like 4, 5 or 6 years. But our initial journey was always picking up on what questions or requirements have come in from our customers. But with the advent of the new AI, where we have Gen AI, the LLMs and everything, we see this is a huge offering for the SMEs especially. Because everybody here, you are all tech SMEs, we have our own ecosystem, our own challenges. And the first priority is our customer experience. And when we are talking about customer experience, there are many touch points. For any application, any product, any service, any solution that you're catering to in your industries, in your domains, there are multiple touch points. Your internal users, your external users, the people who are making the decisions, your decision makers, the people who are paying you for your services, and the users again. So these are all different for each application, each product, each solution service. And to bring that customer experience is highly important. And AI or Gen AI that is coming in, that is the right selling unique opportunity that we have in hand to have a, a level field level playing field with the large organizations that are across globally. And I think AI is what is going to, if you bundle it with your existing services, I think that will be your USP, and you will be having a huge opportunity lying ahead of you. Personally, we've seen that for our organization, Covalense Global, where most of our customers are coming and saying, is this possible? And they are really thrilled with the solutions that we have in place when it comes to the personalization or the entire information retrieval or the way it can actually bring in innovation. So that is, I think, very important that we adhere to the recent ones. And I also would like to add the point that Siddharth was saying, that you don't have to do it all on yourself. You could partner with organizations where we are having those solutions, where we can do an MVP within 3 weeks. So we can definitely support where you would want for your industries, and we can bring it to the forefront. And that will definitely be a foot into the door for the new customers or large customers also, where entering could be tough. But with this AI or Gen AI, you will be able to showcase that value proposition to your customers and also highlight on the CX that you can bring to them. So I think that is very important for all the SMEs to adhere to.
Interesting thoughts. Krishna, I'm going to come back to you, but I'll come to Vidushi first, right? Vidushi, you're a product company that was always focused on language. And now with the advent of, ChatGPT and foundational models, language has become center stage. So how are you evolving as a company? What is the transformation you've seen, and how do you see the whole language market out there?
Right. So just a bit of background. My company, Process9, we are a language technology company. Few years ago, we realized that the way internet is expanding, language content, especially Indian language content, is not really catching up or keeping pace with it. And traditional human-intensive processes of the translation industry were not going to cut ice and really bring the necessary speed and scale. And automation and AI is the only way forward. So that was the base point or the starting point with what we started. Of course, AI in our industry is not new. Machine translations is the first form of AI. I think Google Translate launched itself back in 2006, so it's really been a while. But of course, the methods and processes of statistical and rule-based models were not giving desired results. They were good, but they still left people, left us asking for more. Gen AI, when transformer models and GPUs were unleashed into the world, that really brought about the next quantum leap for especially the language industry. We ourselves came out with our transformer-based NMT model late 2019 or 2020, and we were able to see a huge difference in, let's say, the base, what are the core fundamentals, time, cost, quality. So it was able to impact all these three pillars. The cost of delivering projects or getting translation out went significantly down. The quality was much better, and time to market or time to completion of translation was really cut short. So it made a lot of sense. It was adding positive results. And when ChatGPT came out and people really saw the power of AI for themselves, it was not something that was being pushed onto them. It was a pull effect they saw. So from our industry perspective, conversations on, dissing AI, that, this is not, you have to trust on humans, you can't trust on machines, that sort of went away, and the conversation suddenly flipped to, what can you do for us in AI? How can you solve this problem for us? Can you make me my own, personal translation model or a voice engine or conversational AI? So this is now we have been able to progress through transformer models and make good progress even in, voice technologies and conversational AIs.
So Vidushi, just to follow up on that, right? To take that question on, you were building some fundamental products, and these new technologies of transformer and others came into play, and you've suddenly seen a new market open up. But how have you differentiated your go-to-market, right? Because now you have a much wider play of people you can either partner with, customers that are looking for new solutions. Have you thought about your go-to-market differently from what you would have done if the Gen AI transformation had not happened?
For us, Gen AI and transform models has actually opened up the market a lot more because language, multilingual translations, all of this has suddenly become so much more affordable. It was prohibitively expensive to do this before, quality automation really became a reality. And today, because costs have come down, time to market has significantly come down. So for us, the market has really, really opened up.
Yeah, so I think if I was to flip that question to you, Krishna, right? AI is opening up some new markets, but it also has the potential of cannibalizing some existing businesses. May not be happening right now, but how are you seeing that? Will it create net new business, or it will reshape your existing business, or how are you seeing that market opportunity?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, and it will definitely open up new markets because with the interactions that I'm seeing with my customers, they are really thrilled with the capacity that is bringing. So they will be able to serve their end customers much better. So now they are coming back to us, giving us information about their end users and talking to us what the end customer experience is. So that's actually changing my customer's business model where new revenue pipelines are being started. So there's a new business that's coming into the country. And when you say might be some traditional old models might be disrupted, we definitely can't say no to that. But again, this is a very new way, how it was prior to computers or how it was prior to the existing overall entertainment programs, whatever you see. So there will always be a change, change is constant. We can never say no to that. But for India, for SMEs or for the entire growth across anywhere, what I see is AI is going to liberate us. See, for an example, if you see a life sciences company, they will be having tons and tons of data on multiple diseases or whatever it is. If they have to pull out all of that data for the past 25 years, they might have that data, but the data doesn't talk. Now with the advent of AI, the solutions that we have in place, a decision maker can go and he can talk to the data. He can pull out those answers. So that's going to uplift the overall health. It's going to bring around a lot of decision making very fast. Decision making is time bound. Most of the times, because not taking the decisions in right time could be a problem. But for us, what I see is AI will definitely bring in a lot of prosperity, a lot of business revenues for the country, for the entire programs, anybody who's into that. And I'll also see that it will actually elevate the overall working model that we have in place.
So just to build on the working model, Krishna, if some company here is looking to start off a AI offering within their existing premise, how should they think about it? Do I need to go out and hire a separate AI team? Do I need to build a COE? What kind of partnership? So if you can just help decode that a little more.
Thank you. When I say AI COE, you mentioned, for us, what we are doing is in AI COE, we have 5 different teams. We have a market research team, we have an R&D team, and then we have a design thinking team, we have a development team, and then we have our implementation team. So we have a lot of thought process which is going through all of this. So this is how we have set up our AI COE. But when it comes to the question that you have asked, if anybody would want to get started, it is if AI is the core focus, then they will have the timelines to build all of these intact, right? But in case the core focus is not AI, the best thing should be to partner up with companies who are already leading in that so that you don't lose your time in selling to your customers and your customers don't go to your competitors because they are offering something good. Okay, so I think that's the option. Or else the third option is also to get started with 1 or 2 use cases. You can say mention like an AI playbook. So what they can do is pick up the top 5 customers that they have in place right now, might be identify 1 or 2 use cases where the customer is asking, or that could be a bottleneck for them, or that could be a new revenue generator, and then co-create with your customer. Sit with them, discuss with them, and most of the customers are willing today. They would come back with their data sets or with their problem statement. I think that's the first right way to get started. And might be after the initial phase of 3 months or 4 months, then have your own R&D teams, your own development teams, and then get started on the journey. So I think that should be, identifying, doing a little bit of a market research and co-creating it with your customers, your top 3 or top 5 customers. If you're able to co-create, I think that's the best way to be very successful. And in the earlier sessions also, if I may just hijack 1 more minute. In the earlier session also, I heard a question about the cost. And the cost is very less. what I have seen from my experience, the cost is not huge when it comes to AI or Gen AI. If you are actually building in your entire solution with a lot of the existing AI, Python technologies and all of that stack, and you consume the LLMs only in the last, your tokenization or your modularization is all in place, then the cost is very minimalistic. You can reach out to us and we can also explain you how we could do that.
And I think, Vidushi, what you're building, the cost is a huge factor, right? Because you're really building the core LLMs, and now there's so much talk about Indic language models. You have multiple companies, the government itself is building Bhashini, there's Bharat GPT, there's a lot of work happening there. As a company, are you thinking of building your own language models? And if yes, how do you solve this cost efficiency, innovation, business profitability equation?
So short answer, no. We are not building.
That's heartening to hear, right? So.
LLM, but what we are going to be building of our own is an SLM, or a small language model. Being in the Indian language space, anyone who you speak to who's trying to solve this problem will tell you that we don't have enough data in our Indian languages, which can really bring or create a meaningful LLM that is really able to solve problems. Personally, I also feel that this entire technology is in its nascency right now. People are still figuring it out. This is just phase one. If we think back to when the first computer was built, it was probably big enough to fit only 2 of in this entire room. And today it's at the palm of all of us. So that is the journey that still needs to be traversed for Gen AI also. There are statements coming out that for any Gen AI plant, you need to put an atomic plant right next to it because that's how much electricity it's guzzling. So obviously there's a lot of efficiencies that still need to be built in. However, when we talk about SLMs, making an SLM is constricting the problem, focusing on a very specific industry, very specific use case, and a very specific set of problems that are to be solved. That brings in a lot more efficiency, that brings in a lot more accuracy, and what we talk about hallucinations or wrong outputs and biases and all of that, that really comes down, the quality is higher, it becomes more usable for a business, more trustable for a business. So that is what we intend to do.
I think it's very similar to what Krishna said, right? Focus on the use case, start there as opposed to saying, I can solve everything by trying to build out large LLMs without the use case being not known, right? So I think important for everybody in this room to say, what's your use case and why you're building out. I think just, Vidushi, if you were to stay on that topic and say, obviously if you're doing it for a customer, you understand the business impact. But as a product company that will build its SLM, and how do you define the business impact of or the ROI that Gen AI will give you, right? Because I think you're spending money, you're spending effort, you're faking effort to clean all this data or get the right data inputs. It's a lot of work, right? But is the business impact of what you're trying to do evident, not so much for you as a company, but for your customer, right?
Well, I would say yes. More and more companies, apps that we're all using, websites that we're all using, we see that language is being added. They are taking the effort to convert all of their products. I mean, look at Amazon and Flipkart and Paytms of the world. They boast of, I don't know what, crores and crores of products on their portals, and all of them are accessible in languages today. So there is definite reason, and it could have been done before AI happened. It was just impossible to do, whether it is in terms of time or content or cost. But today it's possible. And we personally are working with some of the largest BFSI companies, or whether it is e-commerce companies, healthcare companies, because there is a need. So definitely they are seeing business advantages also to it. And but for me personally, a metric that I would like them to measure success by is that their user who speaks English, the comfort with which they are able to interact with the platform and purchase a product, a person speaking Tamil or Gujarati or Assamese or whatever language should be able to traverse that entire journey with the same amount of ease, and that is a win.
And that opens up a huge market that you can't even think about. So if I was to come to that question for you, Krishna, right? Yes, if you leverage AI, this efficiency improvements that will come in, productivity improvements that we talked about, do you envisage an environment where your customer over a period of time will want you to share these efficiency, productivity improvements with them, and hence, does it cannibalize some part of your business?
No, I don't see it will cannibalize. It will be more of a growth. It's a trend. AI is an enabler. It's an accelerator. And the more that we get to know about it, it's evolving. It's an evolving model. And the customers are also collaborating with you and they think you are a success partner to them. I think the level of working or the collaboration that we have with our customers will change completely. And the teams that we have will definitely need to be upskilling, because the entire ecosystem is moving towards that. And that's more bringing in a lot of efficiency, easing a lot of everybody's lives. And a decision maker can talk to the data, he can actually have everything on his hand. It will be more ease. So, yeah. And it will bring in a lot of efficiency.
How do you help your customers think about the impact of an AI project? Are there metrics? What kind of metrics would you help define for them?
Yeah, it again changes with the scale of the industry and the scale of the customers that we are working. We work with all sorts of customers who are billion-dollar organizations, Fortune 50. We also work with customers who are SMEs in their, subject matter experts in their particular, it could be a healthcare or a life sciences. So the metrics are completely different when it comes to AI. And again, they'll have to measure it with the CX and how well they are able to accelerate their growth. It's directly proportional. The more that they contribute, the more that they are able to give to the model, the more cognitive it is. I think we are yet to see the actual growth path that the customers might actually experience. Last year, I think we were at a point where most of the customers were interested in POCs. But right now, everybody is ready to productionize. They want to get into their processes. They want us to get into their systems. They are sharing their data. So we are handling a lot of the corpus data of our customers. So I think when it comes to evaluating the growth that they are seeing, I think we'll have to wait for a period.
I know we're going to be out of time, but are there any quick questions from the audience? Okay. So I think maybe, I'll go to my closing question there. I think this conference, there's been a lot of focus on innovation, AI, how SMEs have to play a critical role in India's transformation. So how, just quick answers from both of you, and how do you see the AI transformation for SMEs, and why is this so important, right? Because I may be in a sector that does not need AI transformation, and is that an imperative that everybody should focus on? So Krishna, maybe we can start with you and then come to you, Vidushi.
What I see is definitely India is, if India has to go into a growth path where from the existing 3.5 trillion economy, if we have to rise, I think this is definitely the path where we have to picture up. There's a huge competition everywhere, and the countries, they're actually looking into India for being their, digital hubs or AI hubs. So I see that there is a lot of work in pipeline, and that's going to bring a lot of prosperity to the country, and definitely we need to adhere to that. Yeah.
So all the SMEs in this room and many more that are engaged through Nasscom, what would be your advice to them from an AI perspective?
To get AI into every particular process or program or product or solution and only focus on that CX. What is the user experience and what is the value proposition? If we are doing these two, we will be able to compete with every other large player in the world across the globe. And so I see a lot of organizations who are based out of other countries are having their offshore or nearshore centers from thereby. But if we are able to show that value proposition, I think every other country in the world will be focusing us, and I think a lot of that prosperity will be flowing into the country. We will be easily touching $35 trillion economy in a very short period.
So Vidushi, your response, and I think more important for you about why language is important for India's transformation, right?
Well, to answer the first part of your question, yes, AI is important, and we need to figure out how we can, incorporate AI into what we do. However, the basics of business don't change: time, cost, quality. We have to figure out, we have to rise beyond the hype, and we have to figure out what is the right place where you can put AI. And to your point, if your industry does not benefit with AI, you don't feel the pressure that, you know, I have to do it, because this is the only way that you can sustain and create value over a period of time. You may be able to create a temporary hype that, oh, I'm using AI to solve this problem. But if you're not actually, you know, impacting time, cost, quality at the end of the day, then it's not going to be sustainable. It will not give you market leadership in the longer time. So technology will keep getting disrupted, but the fundamentals of business don't change and shouldn't change.
Very well said that, you know, technology is technology, but business is business. So the two will intersect, but please make sure you have the right priorities to do that. Thank you so much for a very, very engaging session. I hope all of you enjoyed the session, and, you know, Vidushi and Krishna will be available for any interactions you may want later. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the innovative discussion. I take the opportunity to invite on stage Ms. Nehal Raval from Nasscom to felicitate our panel. Thank you for doing the honors, Ms. Raval. Please stay back for a group picture. Thank you.